guys, welcome back to Just Driven. As you can see behind me, we have the new EV Charger. This is a brand new 2024 RT Plus Charger. We thought it would be really cool to get our hands on one and compare it to our Toretto Charger. But most importantly, how cool would it be if Fast and Furious was actually made today, 2025, as opposed to 2001, and they ended up using the new Charger as Toretto's hero car. We thought it would be a fun video, so let's get to it. All right, guys, so what if the Fast and Furious wasn't made in 2001, but actually today, in 2025? Would Toretto drive this? Or would he drive this? So here's the thing. It's a question most fans have never dared to ask, but one couldn't ignore. So because in a world where muscle is going electric and the roads are run by algorithms and range estimates, where does a guy like Dom Toretto fit in? So today we put two legends head to head, one built in a garage and the other one born in a lab. One fueled by gas and grit, the other by lithium and lightning. It's about soul. Let's see which car truly lives up to the legacy of the Fast and Furious. So back in '01, the car that stole every scene wasn't the Supra, although some would argue, it was Dom's Charger, the 1970 Charger. It didn't just look dangerous, it was dangerous. The car wasn't just fast, it was personal. In the film, it represented Dom's fear, his father and his fury. It stayed parked for years, not because it was broken, but because he was. So now let's talk about our replica. We didn't cut corners. We sourced period correct parts. We chased the look, the sound, the feel, because the car deserves respect. We built it the way Dom would have built his, with our hands, our tools, and our time. There's no traction control here, no touchscreen, just raw American muscle. You feel every vibration, every clunk, every downshift, and when it launches, you don't drive it, you survive it. That's the car that set the tone for the entire franchise. Not because it was the fastest, but because it was the realest. Fast forward to today. The muscle car has evolved or mutated, depending on who you ask. This is the 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona EV. It is the RT Plus Stage 1. It's bold, it's electric, it's controversial, but it's not just a Charger with batteries, it's an entirely new beast. Built on the STLA large platform with all-wheel drive, simulated shifting, and up to 670 horsepower. It's got launch control, a drift mode, a sound system called a fratsonic chambered exhaust that simulates the rumble of a V8. Look, you can't ignore the effort Dodge put in here. They didn't want this car to whisper into the future, they wanted it to scream. From the rear lighting blade to the aggressive stance, it looks like muscle, and when you stomp on it, you're pinned to your seat like a roller coaster. But let's be real, it's not just what's under the hood, it's what's not under it. No engine, no oil changes, no wrenches. It's more software than steel, more screen time than wrench time. And for some people, that's progress. For others, that's blasphemy. So let's get inside Dom's head for a second. This is a guy who lives by a code. He builds, he breaks, he bleeds with his cars. So what would he do if you handed him this machine? Or should I say spaceship? Think about it. Toretto doesn't use key fobs, he uses a socket wrench. He doesn't scroll through menus, he tunes by ear. His Charger is an extension of his soul. It's loud, brutal, and honest. So pop the hood on this EV.
Pop the hood?
What do you see? You see wires, covers, some coolant tanks. It's quiet, it's efficient, it's controlled. But Dom isn't about control, he's about chaos. He's about building the bond between man and machine. And yet there's a chance he'd still respect it because it's powerful, it's unique, and most of all, it's got potential. let's talk specs. The Toretto Charger in the movie had a blown alcohol-fueled Hemi with this massive blower, whereas this guy has dual electric motors, horsepower rating, movie specs, about 900.
So much torque, the chassis twisted coming off the line.
New EV car, $496 to $670 depending on the model you buy. Transmission is a built 727 3-speed automatic, simulated EREP system, drivetrain, rear-wheel drive on Toretto Charger, all-wheel drive on the EV. Exhaust, straight piped Hellfire versus Fratzonic simulation. 0 to 60 time, our guy makes about 4.5 seconds. This guy about 3.3 seconds. The sound, totally real, unfiltered. This guy, digitally generated control. Full manual, drive mode, assisted. So what do you guys make of this? One is living legend. The other is a futuristic experiment. Both, in their own way, push boundaries. And maybe that's exactly what Dom would have wanted. Now, let's dream a little. Let's say Toretto did take this new EV Charger and made it his own. What would he change? Everything. Delete the screens, strip the interior, manual switches for everything, analog gauges probably, welded steel roll cage, drivetrain settings locked in launch mode, custom one-off suspension tuned for grip, probably new wheels. Because for Dom, it's not just about driving something fast, it's about making it his own. And that's the point, right? Doesn't matter if it's electric, gas, hybrid, rotary, or steam-powered, it's yours. If it's built, tuned, and loved, then it belongs on the streets. So where does that leave us? The OG Charger is raw, mechanical, and very dangerous. It's everything we grew up loving. The EV Charger, it's fast, it's efficient, it's also very futuristic. It's everything we were told we should want next. Dom wouldn't reject the future, he'd shape it. He'd bend it to his code, and so should we. Whether you drive gas, electric, or a mix of both, what matters is what you build. So for now, you guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you like what you see, please let us know. And don't forget to comment. It's really important because if you look back through our previous videos, you'll know that we comment and respond to all of you guys. We hope you like this video. I'm anxious to actually go drive this a little bit more today before it leaves. So we'll catch you on the next one. You know, Dodge really took a risk, stepped up and said, let's take away the most popular car that we've ever built that everybody loves, the Charger, the Hellcat, the Red Eye, the Demon, all those monsters, and let's replace it with a new model. Let's replace it with an EV. Now, there's been talk about them actually coming out with a gas-powered version, and it's mostly whispers right now, but word is, 2026, we're gonna see the Hemi return. I'm not sure if it's gonna be the Hellcat. I mean, let's face it, they're still making the Hellcat and the Durango. The Durango was not supposed to have a Hellcat in it, but for some reason, I think the people over at Dodge realized it's not a good idea to completely get rid of this amazing drivetrain. So it is still being offered. Will the Hellcat come back in this new body? It's possible. Look, I love this thing. It's a freaking monster. When it came off the trailer, it freaking weighs so much. The thing weighs almost 6,000 pounds. I mean, 200 pounds shy. It's 5,800 pounds. I mean, the last Hellcat fully loaded Charger was 1,000 pounds less. So this thing is a monster. When you look at it, it's actually just a tiny bit shorter bumper to bumper from the Toretto Charger, but it's significantly wider. It's way heavier and it feels big. I mean, when you drive it, it feels heavy. The weight is what I noticed more than anything else, is how much it felt heavy. But don't get me wrong, Dodge did an amazing job in subduing that feel by adding more of a responsive, feel to its brakes and its steering wheel. I'm kind of impressed. I'm going to be honest with you. The sounds, the noise it makes, the visual aspect of the interior, very futuristic. I really like the direction they're going. Not really sure what's going to happen in terms of the popularity of this car. You know, they were really late coming out. This is a 2024 model, but if you look at the build date on the label, it says built in December of 24. They were met with all sorts of challenges. There's a lot of negative comments on the internet about, a lot of videos on YouTube talking about the new Charger and what a flop it's been. Yeah, it's a big car. You know, sitting next to some of these older 90s, you know, even early 2000 model cars, it's like David and Goliath. I do like the new Charger. I love the lighting. I love the feel of it. I love that front arrow on the front nose. Rumor has it when the gas versions of this car come out, they're going to have to do away with that to make room for cooling. So you're going to lose that front spoiler. The initial plan was to come forward with that straight six twin turbocharged gas-powered motor that is currently in the Jeep Grand Cherokee, I believe. I think I'd call it the Hurricane. That isn't being really well received by the diehard, you know, Hellcat guys. I'm a huge fan of the 6.4 Hemi and even the 6.2 Hellcat drivetrains. Love those drivetrains. I really would love to see that come back, and especially, can you imagine a Helephant? The Helephant is still the 6.2 liter motor, but it has got all sorts of new mods to it, and it pushes 1,000, I think it's 1,050 or 1,025 horsepower. The C170 version, it's quite the freaking drivetrain. They took a lot of money to put this car, you know, on the road. I'm not really sure how quickly they're going to be able to throw a whole bunch of more money at a revamping of drivetrains. I mean, I know that they've got mules and test mules and prototypes running around right now that do have gasoline engines in them. We don't know if they're the Hurricane, the straight six, or if they threw a Hellcat, or if they threw some form of Hemi in it. Just don't know. But I do like the car. I love the looks. Just not sure how well it's going to be received once it's got the drivetrain. I'm anxious. I do know for a fact the batteries on this car are about 1,500 pounds. They're about. The electric motors have got to be, I don't know, 300-400 pounds, I'm assuming. I mean, that's 2,000 pounds right there. How much does a Hellcat drivetrain weigh? So I'm anxious to see if you were to take all the electronics out of this thing, get rid of the, you know, all-wheel drive idea and just leave it rear-wheel drive, how well would it perform? I don't know. I do like the feel of it. The look grows on you guys. Most of the guys, the diehard enthusiasts that were so pissed off when they came out with the EV Charger, they've actually commented on how it is very appealing. It looks great, but it's an EV. I mean, how long is it going to take you to charge it before you can drive to Vegas? That's the challenge. So, you know, I don't know. That's my complaint, but, you know, you never know. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that drive EVs every day. If you've just got a short drive to work, take it. But I will tell you, man, it's big. It's not going to fit in some of these small parking spaces. There's just freaking no way. It's a very wide car. It takes up a lot of real estate, but it's pretty badass. I will admit, it looks really cool. And that sound effect. It's really amazing. It freaking just explodes. It's pretty bitchin'. I gotta give it to Dodge. They really did an amazing job on that. But it would be cool to have that system behind you on a game night, because that's where I think it would come in handy. For driving, yeah, it does. There's nothing like getting in the NSX with its Toyota ITBs and its freaking Pride titanium exhaust. The sound that it makes is glorious, and it's extremely addictive. This is more of a kind of a muted tone that you just hear. It's not the same. It'll never be the same. It's impressive, but if you haven't experienced that, maybe you could live with it. But once you've experienced the noises that a combustion motor makes, it's hard to beat it. All right, I'm done.